Thank you so much, Matt. I think that your insightful exploration of the unconventional and disruptive applications of patent data analytics definitely broadened our perspectives on the dynamic applications of patent data in the ever-evolving world of innovation. We're going to shift gears a little bit into our next session, where we have the privilege of diving into the future with somebody who I would say has her finger on the pulse of innovation here at Patsnap. So I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Aida, the Senior Product Manager here, who will be guiding us through Patsnap's analytics product roadmap. We hope you enjoy. Over to you, Aida.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aida Maz. I'm a Senior Product Manager for our analytics platform here at Patsnap. I'm so glad that you've joined us today for our Frontier event this year, and I'm really excited to take you through some of the highlights from analytics just this past year, as well as give you a sneak peek into what could be coming your way in 2024. You may know that Patsnap's journey started with analytics in 2007. We've come a very long way since then, and we're really excited to see where this journey takes us next year. Now, before we actually get into analytics, I want to zoom out for just a minute or two and set the stage. So across the globe, the rate of innovation is exploding. Since the year 2000, we've seen a 234% growth in how much money is going into R&D worldwide. And in 2022, the global R&D spend was nearly $2.5 trillion US. And with that increased investment and activity, protecting that R&D is becoming increasingly important. We can see a steady upwards trend in the number of patent applications that are being filed worldwide, and the number of patents actually being granted are also going up. So these are all really positive trends that we're seeing. But at the same time, R&D ROI continues to be a pretty big challenge. So overall, we're seeing a 65% decrease in R&D ROI over the last 3 decades, with industries like pharmaceuticals projected to have an R&D ROI in the single digits. So why is that? The reality is that data is growing faster and faster. It's growing exponentially, oftentimes much faster than it can actually be analyzed by a single person. With the growth in patenting activity, the ability to derive knowledge and wisdom from that data continues to become harder, but it continues to become more critical than ever. And that is just scratching the surface of the obstacles. There are, of course, many other obstacles that can get in the way of a sorry, let me start that part again. Now, that is just scratching the surface of, Now, that is just scratching the surface. There are, of course, many other obstacles that can get in the way of a high R&D and IP ROI. Not being able to analyze large data sets with ease and speed is just one of them. Other challenges can include things like limited search capabilities, inefficient collaboration and review processes, which could lead to things like missed or duplicated work, or even just being unable to quickly locate the right details within the record that you're looking at. These are all pretty valid reasons why there could be issues getting in the way of a high R&D ROI. These are also issues which Patsnap Analytics addresses. So just to give a very quick overview of what analytics is, in case you are new to analytics, analytics enables seamless analysis of vast innovation and IP data so that you can make decisions confidently. It has a very intuitive interface, which you'll see throughout this presentation shortly, expansive cross-industry data, and extensive collaboration capabilities, which make it really easy to gain actionable intelligence, drive innovation, and mitigate risk. And that's whether you are working solo, whether you're working with your team, your entire company, or even if you're working with your client network through the platform. And as I mentioned in the start, analytics is where Patsnap's journey began in 2007, but it's certainly not where it ends. Now, earlier today, my colleague Michelle shared a version of this slide. I won't take you through every point, but I do want to emphasize the role that analytics plays to help prevent some of the issues I outlined in the last few slides, especially within the context of the Patsnap suite. So up until last year, analytics was a do-it-all platform. It was tailored, so to speak, to both IP and R&D needs and workflows. But in recent times, we decided that at the rate that we are expanding and growing analytics, in order to best serve our customers, we need to pick one category of needs rather than two to focus on. So last year, Patsnap launched Eureka. So you can see that right here in 2022. Eureka, as many of you may know, is a tool specifically tailored to the R&D use cases, but it is nicely integrated with analytics. So whether you're working in a R&D focused team or an IP focused team, you can collaborate quite closely within the Patsnap suite. I just wanted to highlight this for you guys because it does provide a bit of context for this year's releases as well as next year's plans. Speaking of which, let's take a quick look at some of the key updates which took place just this past year. Okay, so we have a rough timeline here on your screen with some of the major releases from the past year. What I really want to draw your attention to is first that, we're in November now. That's 11 months. We have monthly release cycles here at Patsnap. So this past year, so far, we've had 11 release cycles. We have another one coming next month. But really, the focus of this is that has amounted to over 130 product updates, which is a whopping number for us. And I want to emphasize that these are just updates which are user-facing. So there are many more than just 130. Many of them are just on the back end. They were optimizations or enhancements that we did to improve your experience of the tool. Now, a lot of these updates were powered by your feedback. So I want to quickly thank everybody who has taken the time to share with us your thoughts, your experiences, your needs when it comes to our platform, as well as our data. We are very committed to better serving you, so we love receiving feedback. And while we can't always action every single piece of feedback, I can assure you we are always working on something that our customers told us they needed without question. So what did we actually do? You can see that some of the months that are on this timeline have some highlighted items in green. These were some of the pretty key releases that we had. So including things like in March, our expert search for the professional searcher, in June, our prosecution history reader. But rather than me explain each of these one at a time, let me actually just show you 3 of these. So first, we have our expert search, which, as I mentioned, we launched in March of this past year. This update was based on a huge amount of feedback we received, and we wanted to take that feedback and essentially provide the option of a search history-centric user experience for expert or professional searchers who are working on large search projects. So without further ado, let's take a look at this short video walkthrough.
Supercharge your searches with the new Expert Search, designed to make your search experience faster, easier, and more intuitive. And with its streamlined interface and advanced functionality, it's the perfect tool for search-heavy workflows like freedom to operate and more. Easily view all of the queries that make up your search and how they are connected to each other. This makes it easier to understand your search and refine it as needed. Expert Search also provides you with more control when building complex searches out of existing queries. You can easily annotate your queries for clarity, edit them directly within the Expert Search, or view the search results. And if you're new to Patsnap syntax, the Search Helper is there and ready to assist you in building your queries. It eliminates the need for constant clicking back and forth between pages. With Expert Search, you can easily view your historic queries and create new ones altogether as you review your search results. Visit the standard view to see the family members of each patent, their legal statuses, jurisdictions, and how relevant they are to your search. So don't settle for a clunky, time-consuming search process when you can save time and effort in your patent and innovation workflows with Expert Search. Try it out today and see the difference for yourself. And if you ever need help or have questions, Patsnap's world-class support team is always available to assist you at help@patsnap.com.
All right, awesome. So as you saw in the video, Expert Search is a very key part of our pivot towards focusing on the needs of the IP-focused user. And since then, we have only expanded on serving those needs. So let me show you the next update, which is our prosecution and claims history viewer. So filing a patent and going through prosecution can be a very long and expensive journey, and sometimes, unfortunately, it won't even result in a granted patent. So the question we are asking ourselves here is, how can we reduce the amount of time and risk of rejections and therefore cost before somebody even files a patent application? One good way is to review the prosecution or claims history of patents, which are related to a similar subject matter as your idea, in order to get a sense of what could get rejected or challenged in the prosecution process. And therefore give you an idea of what you might want to change or avoid in your application. Now, previous to the June 2023 update here, in order to review the prosecution history of a record, you would have to go into the file wrapper, look for the rejection document, the amendments, the arguments, look for them one at a time, download them, open them up in different PDF viewers on your computer, and cross-reference them one at a time to maybe gain some insight into how you might want to draft your own claims. But with this update in June, users are now able to open a nice dedicated prosecution history viewer where different rounds of prosecution are organized into separate tabs, as you can see at the very top of the screen here. I'll just highlight it with my cursor for you. And the user can then review the rejection on the left, the claim amendments on the right, and if they so choose, they can also open up a third panel where they can view the applicant's arguments all in a very convenient triple view. So no documents to look for, no documents to download, organize, or lose time trying to find what was amended. This update was aimed to enhance the accessibility of these valuable insights and empower users to formulate claims with the right language and increase the probability of actually obtaining a grant. So that is the prosecution viewer. Next, I want to take you through a very recent update. So just in the last month or so, we had the addition of family level searching. So analytics used to be a document-centric platform, meaning that your searches and your analyses would be restricted to individual records. Now, users are able to search at the family level, which is especially helpful for things like the FTO use case, where you may have, let's say, a highly relevant family to what you're searching, but each family member has slightly different wording from each other, and all of the wording is just slightly different from your query. Without family level searching, you could miss that entire family, which is highly relevant. But with family level searching, we're ensuring that those types of results rather, are never missed. So here in this GIF, you can see a walkthrough of just the search interface. This is on the field search, but you can access family level searching on most of the search types within Patsnap Analytics. And then when you actually run your family level search, if you click into the family ID in your search results page or in your workspace, you're able to access the brand new family overview, where you can see things like a heat map of keywords from your query against the different family members, as well as a very handy family legal status timeline and quick links to relevant sections of each family member's text. So this update was meant to increase the efficiency with which you can review a patent family for purposes like an FTO analysis, And again, these updates were based on a lot of user feedback. So now that we've actually released them, we would also like to hear your feedback to see, did we do this right? Is there any way we can do it better? Or are you quite happy with how it was done? So please get your feedback in if there's anything you'd like to share with us about this update. All right, so now the really exciting part, what is actually coming next year? What are we brewing at Patsnap for analytics? We can definitely expect another year of 130 plus updates, but I'll take you through just a few of them just to give you a sneak peek of what it is that we're working on. First off, for those of you who are filing patent applications in the US, we are introducing updates to our IDS generator. At this time, we do have an IDS word export, but again, thanks to your feedback, we're making it even better than before. So in Q1 of next year, you can expect to find an improved and highly interactive version of our IDS generator, where you can directly populate different fields like application information, US records, non-US records, non-patent literature, and more straight from the platform into the platform. No manual filling out of these fields, but you will of course have the ability to check, delete, or add information manually if you need to. Now, before you export it, you will be presented with a view of the document to be exported so that you can proofread it, see exactly what it's going to look like. And if you're not happy with it, you can go back into the edit view and make some changes before you export it into either a PDF or a Word file. So for those of you filing patent applications in the US, this upcoming release will ensure that vital prior art is easily and accurately disclosed, enhancing transparency and boosting the odds of success without ever really having to leave Patsnap to fill out that IDS form. Now on to the next update. A few minutes ago, we took a look at the prosecution and claims history viewer. Now at Patsnap, we are continually making improvements to our AI. The prosecution viewer is already quite helpful because it shows you rejections and amendments side by side, but we wanted to see how can we use our AI to make that process even more efficient. So we'll be enhancing the reader so that whether you prefer to see the PDF of the rejections in PDF form, or if you prefer to see it in text form, which I'll show you in just a moment, there you go, you will be able to directly link each amendment to each rejection, as you can see right now on your screen. And this will make your review that much faster because you don't need to read through the rejection file and manually map it out to which claim amendment it syncs up with. You'll just be able to see it on your screen quite easily. So it'll speed up your review and get you that much closer to better claims drafting, hopefully fewer rejections and better R&D and IP ROI. Now, speaking of more efficient reading and analysis, you may have seen this figure that's on your screen from an earlier presentation today. Wanted to borrow it because it really it nicely illustrates what I'm about to say. When we're trying to really quickly review a record to just see how relevant it is. So before we even want to read it in depth, we often need to just find bits and pieces of information within that record just to quickly get the big picture of, do I want to read this further or not? But having to do that with a very long PDF, like a 19-page PDF here, is not always a very efficient process because information could be scattered all throughout that file. So with all that said, many of you will already be familiar with the technical problem summary and benefit summary that's already available in analytics, where with natural language processing, we have found the most relevant text in the record, which identifies the problem that's trying to be solved by the invention, as well as the benefit of that invention, respectively. Of course, this is a huge improvement from having to read, say, a 19-page PDF, but those of you who have access to Eureka know that we can already do this better. So this is Eureka's version of the same problem and benefit summary for the same US record. You can see the record on the bottom right of your screen. So as you've heard by now in today's event, Patsnap has its own large language model, which is trained specifically on patent and non-patent literature, as opposed to just general internet data. We have employed a new problem summary and benefit summary in Eureka already, which proves to be much more efficient, much more concise, and easy to read using the combination of our LLM as well as natural language processing. So we've already received a lot of positive feedback on this update in Eureka, and so we're very excited to bring it to analytics very soon for you. Now, speaking of our LLM, there is another very exciting change coming, and that is the Query Assistant. So we expect it will save a lot of time for users who are either just getting started on building a query for a new project, or perhaps you're new to building queries in general and you'd like a little bit of help to get you started. So the way it will work is you will enter in a piece of text, for instance, this paragraph that I've got. You'll enter it into a text box the way that you might do in a semantic search. But what happens here is our large language model will assess the technology that is being discussed in that paragraph that you've entered. It will analyze the text and break it down into its elements, as you can see here in the second image. But it also takes each of those elements and decomposes them into further synonyms, as well as recommended classification codes, all of which you're able to select and use to generate a query. Now, I just want to stress here that the Query Assistant is not intended to replace your work, but rather to complement it and drastically speed up the initial stages of your query building. I'll also state that after you generate a query, you will, as always, be able to go in and manually edit the query just to ensure its relevance, its precision, or in some cases, its broadness. So this update is huge, and we're really excited to bring it to you. And I just want to mention, if you have any questions at any point about Patsnap's large language model, whether it is about its security or anything else, please reach out to your Patsnap representative, and they'd be more than happy to answer your questions and share more information about it. All right, and that takes me almost to the very end of my presentation here. I wanted to just highlight one more time that we want to hear from you. We really appreciate all of you who have shared feedback with us, big or small, good or bad. The only way that we can continue to make Patsnap better and serve you better is if you share your feedback with us. So we do want to continue to hear from you. So if you've been sharing feedback, please keep it up. If you haven't, I want to share 3 ways that you are more than welcome to let us know your thoughts and your needs when it comes to analytics. One is, of course, to let your Patsnap representative know. So whether that is a consultant you're working with, or your account manager, or even if it's just the support team, if you're sending in a support ticket, you're more than welcome to share your thoughts, share your experiences, and what you'd like to see in Patsnap, especially in analytics. So that's one way. Another way is to just let us know in the platform. So when you open up Patsnap, you probably have noticed that in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there is a little help button. So you can open that up. Depending on the time of day, you can either chat with our support team live, or you can submit a ticket. So once again, letting the support team know what you'd like to see. And finally, sometimes you'll notice within the platform, there will be a little pop-up that comes up, and we often send out an email as well. In those cases where the product team, so myself and my coworkers, we actually have a very specific project we're working on, and we want to hear from you what your thoughts are. So if you see a pop-up like that or receive an email like that, and you feel that what we're working on or exploring is relevant to you and you have something to say about it, please get back to us about it. We'd love to set up a phone call with you, or a Zoom call rather, to just hear what you have to say. And I promise you that your feedback will greatly impact what is coming in analytics. So before I finally wrap things up and hand this back to Kate, I want to leave you with a really exciting feature that we're working on releasing again in Q1 of next year. So many of you are already familiar with the image search in Patsnap. It was originally developed so that you could search for design patents. It's very difficult to search for design patents well if you're restricted to just keywords. So we had introduced years ago the ability to upload an image and search for design patents with similar designs within them. About a year ago, we updated this image search to also support utility models. So no longer just restricted to design patents, but you could also search for more document types. What we're really excited to share is that in Q1, we will be expanding the capabilities of the image search to also support utility patents or invention patents. So this is pretty groundbreaking for us, and we're really excited to bring it to you and introduce a brand new way to search for utility patents, something to complement your Boolean queries or your semantic queries. This is just another diverse search method that you can add to your arsenal. And that's everything that I'd like to share with you guys today. I will give this back to Kate to continue on with today's program. Thank you.